Comments on Labadee rumors. Yeah, we talked about it a little bit before, Patrick, obviously. They're rumors, so I take every rumor with a grain of salt. Not that, as I wrote in the article, and I wrote an article yesterday at RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com about the Labadee rumors, but I basically said it is circumstantial evidence. If this were a court case, it would not hold up in court. It would be thrown out immediately because it's corollary evidence. It's not like exactly, it doesn't actually mean anything. There's no smoking gun. So certainly anything's possible. You never know. Obviously I would be the first to admit, I think it's been way longer than I thought it would be before Royal Caribbean would open up Labadee, but here we are nonetheless. We upgrade from panoramic ocean view to a balcony for $200 to spend extra $200 on board. If my good friend Josh Carruthers was here, he would tell you spend $200 on board. At the end of the day, here's the argument, Preston. How much time will you spend in your room? Balcony or not, you're gonna sleep there, you're gonna shower, and you're gonna change. And then as soon as one of those things is over, you're probably gonna go out and go do something. Now, listen, maybe you're a big reader. Maybe you like taking a lot. I like taking naps. Maybe you spend more time in the room than others, but there's a very good argument that it is $200 spent on board can be spent in a lot of ways. Drink package, shore excursion, Wi-Fi, especially restaurants, ways to enhance your cruise as opposed to having a nicer room that you may or may not spend that much time in. Now, of course, the other side of that argument is maybe you do spend a lot of time in your room and it's nice having nicer things in life. And will $200, break your vacation budget? Maybe not. And in that case, you're good to go. How's Ratings of the Seas? Great. And tips for an Alaska cruise. There's a lot of tips, and we write about them at Royal Caribbean. If you go to RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com/Alaska, RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com/Alaska, we have a lot of tips there about Alaska, and we have some videos here as well. My advice is plan to pack layers. I think packing is the hardest part about Alaska. The weather will change a lot, so you should be wearing like t-shirt as a base layer, have a thermal layer like a fleece jacket or something, and then a waterproof layer on top, so like a rain jacket. And that way you can always take them off or put them back on if the weather changes. Budget a lot of money for excursions. They're very pricey compared to the Caribbean in Alaska. And other than that, you're gonna have an amazing time. But we have a lot of other tips at RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com/Alaska if you're looking for that. How long does disembarkation take on a ship? So getting off the ship is actually pretty easy. The biggest difference, actually, pre-pandemic to today is that you don't wait in a public area. Before the pandemic, they would make you go to a specific to public venue to wait for your luggage tag to be called. They don't do that anymore. They actually let you stay in your room, so that way there's more social distancing, which I absolutely love because I would much rather be in my room and kind of just take a little easier in there. So that's actually, I think, an advantage. But otherwise, the process itself is pretty much same as it was before. It's pretty quick and efficient. And on all the ships I've been on, we've been off the ship, if you want to get off the ship super early, 7:30 or so, but it moves pretty fast, actually. Do you think boosters will be required in the next few months? I obviously have no idea, Gina. It's a good question. I know that some lines are requiring it. It's a little strange to me that they weren't required earlier. Like, to me, it seems like, well, if you were going to require it, you would have required it, months ago. But anything can change. Let's put it this way, Gina. Anything is possible. I don't have any more insight on it than you do, so I don't want to speculate too much on something I have really no insight into. A lot of it just has to deal with where the market is, but at least for Royal Caribbean, I've not heard any murmurings on that front. Certainly that could change, but you never know. But at least as of right now, they haven't gone in that direction. Which ships offer solo cabins? There's about a dozen or so ships, and I apologize, I don't know them off the top of my head. A lot of them are Quantum class ships, solo runner. Some ships have like literally 2 studio rooms. These are solo cabins are regular cabins on a cruise ship that are designed for a solo traveler. And the biggest difference is, well, it's a little smaller. And number 2, they do not come with a single supplement fee. I believe ships like Anthem of the Seas or Ovation of the Seas have like maybe a dozen or so rooms, which is pretty good. We have a list of them at RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. But some ships, like I think Brilliance of the Seas, if I'm not mistaken, has like exactly 2 solo rooms in their interiors. So it really does vary considerably. Is Maho Beach excursion anyone done it? Yeah. So Maho Beach is the beach in St. Martin where you stand there and airplanes land like right on top. You've seen photos of these 100 times. It's that beach right by the airport in St. Martin. You could really just take a taxi over there. You don't need a formal excursion. Royal Caribbean does offer excursions there, but it's a glorified taxi ride. And then you just go there, hang out on the beach. And the only thing I can say about Maho Beach is no shade. There is zero shade there. So put a lot of sunscreen on, but if you're the kind of person who likes to have shade, you ain't getting it out of the beach over there. Can your onboard credit for gratuities? Oh, there's only one way for it to work, Robert. Here's how it works. You don't, with onboard credit, you don't specify, I like to use this onboard credit for this purchase. It doesn't work that way. It, just like your credit cards at home, it's a credit. It's a like if you go and you return something to Target and it's $100, right? And they put it back on your credit card, it's just $100 credit. If you spent $1,000 that month and you got a $100 refund, you owe the credit card company $900. Same basic idea with the Royal Caribbean. If you have $100 onboard credit and you buy a drink package and the shore excursion, and you have gratuities on there, then all that gets charged, and then obviously the onboard credit comes off there as a credit on there. Now, the way you could use onboard credit for your gratuities is you would not prepay them. You would let them auto accrue on your cruise. So if you don't prepay gratuities, every night of the cruise, you are charged an automatic gratuity per person per day. And per night, I should say. And basically, if you charge absolutely nothing extra, Robert, you never spent another dime on the ship, and all you had on your SeaPass card was gratuities, then yes, you'd be able to do it that way. That would work. Any recommendations for best travel insurance? You know, travel insurance, Joseph, is not like I don't know what it's a lot like car insurance. They're not all the same. Policies vary, so it really depends on what you're looking for, what risk factors you're trying to protect against. So they're all over the place. I would just simply say look at a couple different options. It's a great website. I believe it's insuremytrip.com. They compare and contrast a bunch of different options for you. Might be a good starting point. And also ask your travel agent. They can help you as well with that. Do you think Wonder will have a Portside BBQ? Hope so. It's great, especially sweet tea. You know, I think word on the street, this again, let's go back to the rumor mill for a second, Sharon. The rumor mill says that they're going to have a different concept on there. This Southern cooking type, not quite Cracker Barrel, but it's a Southern cooking thing. It's been rumored to be called Magnolia Cafe or something like that. That's the word on the street. So I think there's probably, honestly, I would say there's probably a better chance of that than Portside BBQ, but I do love me some Portside BBQ. It is really, really good. With all the cancellations happening, you think March and April cruises on Wonder will actually happen or replace with other ships? I think there's no reason to believe they won't be. Remember, guys, there have been cancellations. We're talking about 4 ships and Independence, which was kind of a weird one because there was a charter and a 2-night cruise. Let's call it 5 ships. Okay, 5 ships. There's still all the other ships cruising right now. And the CDC has already let the cruise lines go to a voluntary program for the conditional sailing order. So I believe unless something something could change. But as of right now, today, I absolutely believe you'll be going on March and April cruises. I think there's a lot of idle speculation on the internet. This is unfortunately, I love social media, but this, and I'm not calling you out, Shan. I'm just using this as an example. Unfortunately, a lot of people on social media just run rampant with like speculation because it's the nature of social media. It's just, people just start, one person reads it in one group and another person posts another group, and then someone else reads it in 2 groups and they're like, this must be true. There must be some truth to it. No, it's just idle speculation with absolutely no rationale behind it. Yes, there have been canceled cruises, but let me tell you something, the cruise lines are absolutely looking to go forward with everything going on there. So what's my favorite itinerary, or what do I recommend? They're all great. The closed loop sailings, ones that begin and end in the same port, like Seattle, are just so easy to go on from a logistics standpoint. But the itineraries that do the open jaw sailings, like out of Vancouver and go to like their one-way cruises, those will bring you to a more in-depth. But if you've never done Alaska before, do the closed loop cruise out of Seattle. You will love it. You will love it there. So. All right. Well, I think on that note, we are going to head on out of here. Thank you guys so much for your generosity. Thank you for your time. I appreciate each and every one of you joining us here on YouTube on Monday. Next week, we'll be back in our studio talking with you more on there. Thank you to all our super chatters. Unfortunately, I don't have my list today to say thank you to everybody, but thank you, everybody. I think Sharon Stockman definitely needs like a million thank yous for her generosity. And thank you to everybody for joining me here, talking Royal Caribbean, hanging out. I love it. I appreciate all of you guys. It's a lot of fun. It's a highlight of my week. When we're not live on YouTube, come check us out over at royalcaribbeanblog.com. We have a couple of new blog posts up there waiting for you already. Message boards, podcast episodes. It's all waiting for you at royalcaribbeanblog.com. Have a great week, everybody. Stay safe out there. Do something fun. And we'll talk again very soon right here on YouTube. Good night, everybody.